What's up guys, welcome back to Software Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone Season 5 and the latest updates. Now, yes ladies and gentlemen, Call of Duty Season 5 is out right now and it's playable. Now, I took a lot of time and dedication just figuring out for the people out there right now at this very moment, with low-end machines to medium-end machines to high-end machines to launching physical nukes with their computers, to have a smooth gameplay experience and also to have that clarity and the game to look really good, especially if you're aiming through your sniper rifle scope 500 meters or to 1000 meters and the building looks like a blob. Now I know how to fix that on low-end machines to medium-end machines to high-end machines. It doesn't matter if you're running a screen of 720p, 1080p, 1440p, all the way to 4K. It does not matter what machine you are running. I'm going to show you the best settings you can use right now and settings you can tweak to make your game run better. For people out there that is rocking 1080p monitors, but they want to be able to play their game in 1440p, there's ways to tweak your computer to do it for you. It's basically called a manual overdrive. And I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very important, and it's probably the most important thing that you're going to need to do is this, what I'm about to show you, ladies and gentlemen. So be on your desktop and let me show you what we're going to go through, and then I'm going to show you the best settings as well for Season 5 inside the game. Ladies and gentlemen, smash that like button if this worked for you. Smash that like button because this takes a lot of time and dedication making these videos. Please, for the love of fuck, smash that like button. Leave a comment down below if this actually worked for you. Leave a super thanks if you appreciate what I do. It means a lot to me. All right, let's jump straight into this. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm in the game right now. I just want to point this out before I actually go through everything that you're going to need to do to get an advantage and just in general to make your game look so much better for Season 5 and in general for the future updates as well, even for Black Ops 6. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you're going to need to do. As you can see, this display resolution is actually saying 1440p, right? As you can see that there. Right? 1440p. If I go to quality over here, it's at 100% and it's doing 1440p. Okay, this is 1440p as a display resolution and a render resolution. In general, ladies and gentlemen, 1440p looks much better overall. It makes you see further, the game runs better, and in general, the game just feels more smoother overall, and you can see much, much further at 1440p. So now, there's ways to make a 1080p monitor run in 1440p all the way to 4K. Right? I'm going to show you how to do that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that's going to make your game look better, feel better, and in general, trust me, you'll smash that like button because these settings work. Trust me, I use them on 1080p monitors, 1440p monitors, and even 4K monitors, and it still works perfectly fine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very important, what I'm about to show you, that's going to go down on the computer settings in general. There's a few things that you're going to need to do, and I highly recommend you go ahead and do it. Now, like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of people that go all out with their monitors and not so much with their computers. Then there's people that go all out with their computers, not so much with their monitors. And then there's people that go all out with everything. I mean, literally headphones, keyboard, mouse, screen, computer, graphics card, CPU, everything, RAM, everything, every single thing. Now, if you're one of those people out there that's rocking low-end machine, but you want to run your game at 1440p. You want that crystal clear view. If you're aiming through your scope at 1000 meters, you can actually see the clothing that the dude's wearing or the enemy or whatever the case might be. You can actually see what he had for breakfast the previous day. That's how good the quality will be at 1440p. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Let's jump straight into that. Alright, let's jump straight into this, ladies and gentlemen, and as you can see, I have Call of Duty still open, I have the video control panel open, and then obviously I have this open as well, ladies and gentlemen. This is for AMD users. This is what you're going to need to use as an AMD user, which is basically super resolution. You are going to basically upscale your game from whatever screen you have. If it's a 720p screen, you can upscale it into 1080p to make your game look better. Then from 1080p to 1440p. Then from 1440p to 4K, find your sweet spot for your game. Now, you can enable all of them to actually then select in-game what you would like to select as a display resolution. Basically, 1080p, 1440p, and then all the way to 4K, and then see how your computer can handle it. If you have a really decent computer, then it's very easy to handle 4K. If you have a decent computer, it's much easier to handle 1440p. 1440p is the way to go right now at this very moment with the settings I'm going to show you in the game as well. 1440p is the way to go. So don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a 1080p screen, don't Don't worry about it. I know a lot of people out there that buy the best of graphics cards and the best of computers, but they're still rocking 1080p monitors. There's a lot of you out there. I know it for a fact. Trust me, I know this. Okay, so this is for AMD. This is how you do it on AMD, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you how you do it on an NVIDIA, because I'm an NVIDIA user. But this is how you do it for AMD. As you can see over here, I can even link this in the description down below, or you could just go and look at super resolution for this. You go into your settings for AMD and come and do it inside here and enable it, and then use super resolution and use your upscaling settings. You can enable 1440p and you can enable 4K, as you can see over here. Now I'm going to go out of this and I'm going to show you how you can do it for NVIDIA. NVIDIA has it over here, as you can see. So you come to manage 3D settings and you go to DSR factors. That's what it's called. DSR factors for NVIDIA users. You select it and you select 1440p, scroll all the way down and select 4K here at the bottom. Say OK. And then just make sure that you have everything inside here exactly the same like mine. Please go ahead and do this. Now, there's one thing I recommend changing depending on the machine that you're running. If you're rocking a very low-end machine, ladies and gentlemen, change this from quality, okay, from quality to performance. So this is for low-end, medium-end, go to performance. If you are rocking a high-end machine or the equivalent of a high-end machine, or you do own a high-end machine in general, go to quality and leave that at quality and you'll be good to go. And just copy everything I have inside here. You should be good to go and have your DSR factors smoothness at 33%. And you can play around it if you want to, but 33% should be perfectly fine for you. That's how I play my games. All right. And I tested it on multiple monitors. Okay. Then all you can do is just leave it like this and you can just fuck out of that. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before you even go into the game to change the settings, this plays a very big role on your computer itself. Okay, so moving images like a wallpaper engine, it uses VRAM of your graphics card. You don't want it to be running in the background. Turn it the fuck off. All programs in general that's running in the background that you don't use, turn it the fuck off or shut them down. Okay, so for me, I play my Call of Duty through Battle.net. Once I launch Call of Duty, Battle.net closes, so I can actually save up some VRAM. Now, as you can see, I have Steam open. I'm going to close all of them because I don't need them. So for instance, number one, I do not need Wallpaper Engine, so I'm just going to quit it and have a still image. I don't need Steam since I don't play Call of Duty on Steam. It's closing on my other screen. There we go, and done. Come back here, and then as you can see, there's a few programs that I have inside here that's open right now, but they are meant for my computer. Okay, this is obviously for my 360mm RAD. That's what I'm using, the IQ software. Then I'm using MSI Center for my CPU, and then I'm using MSI Afterburner for my graphics card. All right, that's very important for me to use running in the background. Now, programs that you don't need, like for instance, camera systems or anything like that, you got on your computer, turn them the fuck off. You don't need it because it's going to use VRAM of your graphics card. Trust me, and you're going to experience stutters, and in general, your gameplay is going to suck ass. All right, it's just going to feel like dog shit, and you don't want that. So the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is just come to the start button over here, go to settings, and come inside here, and go to update security, and be inside here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I know. Yes, I know. A lot of people don't like watching how I click on check for updates and stuff like that, but it's very, very fucking important for your computer to be up to date. Please update your computer on a regular basis. Call of Duty Season 5 just came out, so your computer needs to be up to date. On top of that, your graphics card drivers needs to be up to date. So please open up your graphics card drivers program. If you're on AMD, go ahead and open up AMD. If you are on NVIDIA, go ahead and use the latest graphics card drivers at this very moment. So I highly recommend keeping your graphics card drivers up to date as well. So if you're an NVIDIA user like me, go ahead and download the latest graphics card drivers. I have 570.88 currently installed on my computer, and it runs perfectly fine. Unfortunately, 5.8 0.88, the latest version, I've downloaded it before, actually uninstalled it. It made my game feel worse. I don't know what's happening. I'm probably guessing they also have small little updates and bugs that they need to fix with this driver. I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe it's just on my end. I do not know this. Test it out. Go ahead and download this driver. If your game starts giving you a little bit of problems, go back to the previous driver, which is 570.88. That's the one I'm using currently, and my game runs perfectly fine. So keep your Windows up to date, keep your graphics card up to date, and have all background apps not running on your computer. You can do another one like this. Go to Start, go to Settings, and go over here to Privacy, and scroll all the way to the bottom, and go to Background Apps, and go from on to off if you are a Windows 10 user like me. Windows 11 users, you're going to have to individually turn these things off one by one, physically turn them off one by one. Just turn them off and you should be good to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the game. Let me show you the best settings you can use right now at this very moment. And I'm going to show you now those settings that you change to have 1440p enabled on a 1080p screen and 4K. You can now use that settings inside your game and make your gameplay much better, make it look much better, and overall have a smoother gameplay experience. Just make sure that your FPS is not lower than 60 and it's doing above 100 or something like that, and you should be good to go. Right, let's jump straight into the game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the game right now, and I'm in the display tab, and I highly recommend using full screen exclusive. Please go ahead and use this for less input latency and just in general, a smoother gameplay experience. Or you can go with full screen borderless. These are the two I do recommend. Full screen exclusive if you have one monitor. You can even run full screen exclusive if you have multiple monitors. But full screen borderless if you have multiple monitors, full screen exclusive if you have one dedicated monitor. Now I'm going to show you guys something. If I go to full screen exclusive and I go to my screen, I go to my, obviously my GPU, and I come over here, I'm just going to show you guys something. Now there is an overdrive on the monitor. This is a 1080p monitor that I'm currently using at this very moment. Okay, now I selected 1080p. That's 1440p. You'll have it enabled now. And you'll also have 4K enabled. You'll be able to play your game at a display resolution of 4K. But what I recommend in general for a very smooth, crystal clear, smooth gameplay experience is 1440p. So you're going to select 1440p. You're going to say apply. Your screen will go black. It will apply a couple of things, and then you'll just say confirm. Once it's confirmed, ladies and gentlemen, if my OBS zoomed in now at this very moment, it's because it's trying to change from 1080p to 1440p to 4K, and it's just all over the show, so just bear with me. All right, so now it is full on 1440p display resolution, and if you go to quality at 100%, it is also at 1440p. I highly recommend choosing this. If you're running a mid-tier machine all the way to a high-end machine, run this. If it runs perfectly fine over 60 FPS in-game while playing, not just in the menus, you are good to go. Run your game like this for Season 5. Please go ahead and do it. Right, I'm going to go back to display settings, and I'm going to come down over here just to the bottom. Aspect ratio, automatic. Just select this on automatic right now for Season 5. Yes, I know I always used to say use 16:9, but because we're changing a super resolution and overdriving things and just overriding things for your graphics to look better, I would highly recommend rather just selecting automatic over here, and your game will run really smooth at 1440p. All right, restart shader preloading. We'll come back to this. You're going to have your display gamma at 2.2, gamma brightness. I don't really recommend putting this too bright, just overall over to 60, 65, or 70. Don't bump it up any higher than that, then the game's going to look washed out. Now, NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency plays a very big role on your computer itself. It really, really does. Now, this is how this works. Okay, if you have a very good GPU, you have a way better GPU than your CPU, and you know this for a fact, go to on plus boost. If you have a better CPU than a GPU, go to on. If you have a decent setup that is paired up very well together, for instance, I have a 14700K CPU with a 4070 Super. That's what I'm running currently in my rig at this moment, and I run my game on. Just please, for the love of fuck, ladies and gentlemen, don't turn this off. Okay, so if you have a machine that runs a very good CPU and a very good GPU, rather run it on, not on plus boost, because then what you can do with on is it will take advantage of your CPU and your GPU at the same time. But if you're running a CPU that is basically way slower than your newer GPU that you went to go ahead and buy, because a lot of people go all out with their GPUs, then what they do with their CPUs, then go on plus boost, and you'll be good to go, and your game will run much smoother overall. This is what the setting will do for you. All right. Then we have Eco Mode preset, have as a custom VSync menus, turn them the fuck off. The only reason why you would put this at 100% is if you're getting screen tearing. It's the main reason why you would put this on, is if you're getting screen tearing like that, and your game doesn't look like this anymore. It doesn't look normal. It's staring. It's literally like physically tearing itself apart. Put it on 100%. But then, ladies and gentlemen, bear in mind your screen's refresh rate. Okay, so 60 hertz, 120 hertz, 144 hertz, all the way to 500 hertz. Your screen will cap your FPS to your screen's refresh rate, or basically it hurts. So if you have 60 hertz display unit, you'll only do 60 FPS max if this is on 100. So like I said, the only reason why you put this on 100% and have it enabled is if your screen is tearing itself apart. If it's not doing it, turn it the fuck off and done. VSync for menus, I've never seen someone's game actually screen tear while being in the menus, so just turn it the fuck off. Alright, then custom frame rate limit, I have mine on unlimited, and this is how I play my game, but a lot of people prefer to go to customize and have it like this. Now I'm going to show you an example. If you're playing Warzone in general, every type of game modes in Warzone, and your max FPS is, let's say, 180. Again, let's make an example. Let's say it's 180. That's the max FPS you get in Call of Duty Warzone in any mode, okay? Drop it down maybe 20 to 30% less. So that will be 160 like this, or 150 like that. And leave it like that, so that you will achieve that FPS constantly, no matter what. Your FPS won't fluctuate at certain points while you are playing the game, while you're in a gunfight, while there's a smoke grenade or something like that, because a lot of effects will basically dip your FPS. You do not want that to happen while you are playing the game. You're going to have a shit experience. So please, run around on the game, see what the max FPS you're doing. Let's just say you run around on the map and you watch the entire game, your FPS while you're playing, and you're seeing you're only doing about, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're doing 120, okay? Let's say you're doing 120 like this. Perfectly fine everywhere you're running, then just drop it down to 100 and rather do 100 FPS. Perfectly fine. Always. That's how you should have this, okay? But me personally, I have mine on unlimited, and this is how I play my game. Alright, then you have reduce menu render resolution, have this at native, pause game rendering off, then reduce quality when inactive, just at 10 minutes, it should be fine. Focus mode all the way to 0%, and then apply these settings, and then your screen might flash a couple of times, or whatever the case might be. It's just applying the settings for you, and then come to quality. Once you're quality, you're going to come to this over here. You're going to be at this over here which says render resolution, have it at 1440p. Ladies and gentlemen, please have it at 1440p. I just showed you how you can make a 1080p monitor go all the way to 1440p, and watch how your game's going to look. It's going to look so much better. You can even try 4K with if you have got a really high-end PC, go to 4K. Just overall go to 4K. Select the 4K option, and this will be at 100% over here. I'll fucking make an example, all right? Let's go to 4K over here. We go to 4K, we apply the settings, okay? Just bear in mind my OBS might zoom in quite a lot, and then you'll see that's 4K at 100. Let it always be at 100. That's 4K. This is 4K, ladies and gentlemen. I'm playing my game now in 4K, and I'm still doing 127 FPS in the menus right now. And I'll do more FPS in my game while I'm playing. All right, as you can see, my MSI Afterburner is way smaller now. So now, like I said, 1440p is the sweet spot for gaming right now at this very moment, especially when it comes to Season 5. So I'm just going to apply the settings once again, 1440p. As you can see, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller the higher you go with resolution. So have this at 1440p, 100%, because now you're overriding your stuff and making your game force it into 1440p. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it will make a tremendous difference. Smash the motherfucking like button if you see the quality change inside your game, and how beautiful it looks, and how you can scope through basically your sniper rifle or anything, how far you can see now. In general, how the quality looks. It looks so much better. All right, dynamic resolution, you're going to have this off, and just have this off completely, okay? Upscaling and sharpening, I highly recommend with 1440p Fidelity FX Cache. It's the best upscaling in general when it comes to Call of Duty. Yes, I do know a lot of people out there uses other upscalings in general when it comes to a lower end machine. Yes, I get it. If you're rocking a very low end machine, I would go with AMD FSR 3 or AMD FSR 1 at your own personal preference. Then there's people out there that's rocking high end GPUs. Let's say you're rocking something like a 5000 series graphics card and it's high end, like a 5080 or 5090, then you can go to NVIDIA DLSS and have NVIDIA DLSS on and have it at quality and have your game like this. Run it like this. It will run perfectly fine, but NVIDIA DLSS, what it intends to do is while you are moving, it makes the left and right hand side of your screen blur once you start running. Now, no one in their right mind plays Call of Duty standing still, all right? So it's just, that's obviously fucking common sense, but in anyways, all right? There's a lot of other upscalings you guys can go ahead and use, But like I said, when it comes to 20 series graphics cards, I've said this in my previous videos before, go with NVIDIA image scaling with 20 series graphics cards from NVIDIA, right? And then have this either at ultra quality or at quality, you should be good to go. Then if you have very low end NVIDIA cards, go with AMD FSR 3. It doesn't matter if you have an NVIDIA card, AMD FSR 3 and 1 still works with NVIDIA cards. Just because it says AMD doesn't mean you need an AMD card, right? Now, let's say you got an AMD card and it's not the best. Go with AMD FSR 3 or AMD FSR 1 or go with Fidelity FX Cache. They are the best upscalings in general overall. Now, I highly recommend using Fidelity FX Cache overall in general. Use Fidelity FX Cache and have it at your own strength. I have mine at 100 at 1440p. It runs perfectly fine. The game is so sharp and it's competitive and you can see everything. Right, NVIDIA DLSS frame generation, turn it the fuck off, and done. Now, there's people out there that gets away with it, okay? If you're one of those people and you turn it on and you're getting way more FPS and your game doesn't stutter and it feels perfectly fine, then have it on. All right, have it on. If your game runs perfectly fine with fake frames on, because NVIDIA DLSS frame generation is fake AI created frames. So you'll be seeing 300 FPS where you're actually doing 150, because that's the actual FPS you're doing, because it pluses your FPS, it basically doubles it, all right? Yeah. So if you're playing with this on from NVIDIA side, and your game runs smooth, have it on, all right? Because I know a lot of people out there might leave a comment down below saying, yo, dude, I use this, and it runs perfectly fine. Then run it, okay? If you're an AMD user and you have frame generation on, and it runs perfectly fine, then run it, okay? Perfectly fine. I can't please every single person. Everyone has their own opinion and everyone tests their own settings on their own rigs. Okay? I have mine off and my game runs perfectly fucking fine like this with my rig. Alright. VRAM scale target 80% always. The reason why I say 80% and not 90 is because you can then take advantage of that extra 10% over here at the bottom. I highly recommend it. Okay. Now, you can dip this lower if you're getting stuff like packet bursts, ladies and gentlemen. If you are getting packet bursts in your game, a lot of people are complaining about it. If you are getting packet bursts in your game, then drop this down to 60, even on high-end machines. I'm not kidding. Even on high-end GPUs, drop this to 60. Now, I don't receive any packet burst or packet loss or anything like that, so I just run mine at 80, and this is a sweet spot. Leave it like this. You're going to have this off, and you're going to come to this over here where it says detail and textures. Now, I highly recommend in general, if you have a high-end machine that can handle it, run your game at high. If you have a medium-end machine, at normal. If you have a low-end machine, at low. Do not select very low. You're going to tear out your own fucking eyeballs. All right. You're going to come to texture filter anisotropic ultra, because for low-end machines, medium to high-end machines, it doesn't matter. Ultra is still exactly the same. You will not lose a single frame. You won't. Okay? Leave it at ultra for all computers. Depth of field, who in their right mind plays with this, turn it the fuck off and done. Detail quality, I highly recommend right now, this very moment, it's going to be high or normal, all right? Not low. Please, for the love of fuck, not low. Not on Season 5. These are brand new settings I'm giving you guys for Season 5, okay? You can have it at high or at normal. High-end machines, high. Normal-end machines, like mid-range all the way to low-end, go to normal, not low, all right? Perfectly fine. You should be good to go. Then you're going to go to particle resolution and have this at normal as well. Yes, I know. I always tell people to put this at very low, but normal right now at 1440p with Season 5, have it at normal. And if you have a very low-end machine, go to low, not very low, all right? Perfectly fine. Bullet impacts on always. It has no effect on FPS. Leave it on, all right? The effects, turn them off, because you'll still see the effects. Even though they turned off inside here, they are still showing in the game. So turn them off inside here. It's just an FPS hogger. All right. Shader quality, you do not really need to push it all the way to high. I can with my rig. If you can with your rig and you know you got a good rig, go to high. I'm currently running mine at high. If you got a medium-end machine to a low-end machine, go to medium, not low. Okay? You should be fine there as well. On-demand texture streaming, minimal. Just leave it there at minimal, because this downloads textures on the fly and you don't really need it, especially when you're running at 1440p. You do not need it, okay? You need this if you're running your game at 720p or 1080p, because then it downloads the textures on the fly for you when you go to optimized, all right? But you don't need that anymore if you're running your game now at 1440p on a 1080p monitor, because you'll see the difference immediately once we are done with this entire video, and I'll show you how to apply all these settings And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, for all this fucking hard work that I did, all right, smash that motherfucking like button, please. All right, so right, then you give it local texture streaming quality, normal. All right, so shadow and lighting plays a very big role in the game itself, all of these actually, but I highly recommend just keeping your shadows either at high or at normal, because if someone stands, let's say for instance, in a building and you're scoping through, let's say your HDR or whatever sniper you are rocking, and you're trying to look through like, I don't know, like a grid or something like a fence or a gate, you will not be able to see the person correctly from a very far distance, okay? You might not be able to see them correctly, or if you want to see their shadow and you know there's someone in there, I highly recommend rocking high or normal. Do not rock ultra. You don't need ultra. It's either high or normal. Just not low or very low. Unless you got a very shitty computer, then go to low or very low and you should be fine, okay? If you don't care about those shadows and stuff like that, then just turn it the fuck off. All right. So screen space, shadows, low, turn it off to low. Just in general, turn the fuck off and done. Then this over here, screen space, lighting, off, always off and done. Fuck off and finish. All right. Screen space, reflections, off, always off and done. And then static reflection quality. I'm going to repeat this in all my videos. Optimus Prime over here on the right hand side is not going to stand up and walk away. Leave it the fuck on low and done. You do not need this. It's an FPS hogger and makes your game run like dog shit. All right, then you get the environment, and tessellation should be on all right now for Season 5. Volumetric quality at low, then your physics quality off, your weather grid volumes at off, and then your water quality at off as well, and you are perfect over here with the settings for this at the quality settings, all right? This is how you should run your game, all right? Then your view tab is your personal preference, ladies and gentlemen. I can't really tell you what to do inside here, but this is mine over here if you want to go ahead and copy it. It's your own personal preference. I can't tell you what to do here, but these two things, turn them the fuck off. If you want to, you can go ahead and change the flash to inverted flash, so it looks like this instead of that. Instead of you going completely blind at night when you get flashed, it will go completely black instead of white. It's much better on the eyes. Go with it, all right? Anyways, all right, so from here, you're going to come to interface, you're going to come inside here, and you're going to come to this one over here, and go to color customization. You're going to have you as your own color. You're going to have your team and your party the exact same color. Doesn't matter what color you change it to, just make sure it's the exact same color, please. Then when you come to enemy, you can actually adjust it to any color you would like it to be. I like mine as magenta pink because not really anything is magenta pink on the game, except if it's gun skins or skin characters and stuff like that. Then they might be pink, but you're not going to see a pink tree or pink grass or pink building. You're not going to see that shit like that. It doesn't exist in COD, all right? So I highly recommend changing this to a color that you like. It's your own personal preference, but magenta pink stands out a fuck ton. That's why I use it, all right? You're going to come over here where it says color filter, have this at color filter 2. You can have this at both 100% and 100%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you the most important step you're going to need to take for all of these settings to apply to your computer and to apply to your game. Is this right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the most important step you're going to need to take for all of these settings to apply to your game and for your computer to take these effects, all right? All the settings and all the things that you have changed on your game and on your computer itself. You're going to click on Restart Shader Preloading, select it, click on Restart. You're going to press Escape, and then just completely quit to your desktop. Click on Quit to Desktop, click on Quit to Desktop, and then say Yes. Once you click Yes, ladies and gentlemen, launch the game, all right, through either Battle.net or Steam or the Xbox Game Pass, wherever you're playing the game through. Then at the top left corner here, it's going to say installing shaders. So let it install the shaders from 1% all the way to 100. Once it's done, a square block will come up here on the right-hand side saying it's completely done. Once it's completely done, jump into a game. If your game feels better, looks better, and in general you have a better gameplay experience, come back to my video, smash the motherfucking like button. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just here to help the Call of Duty community as best I can, and I hope you enjoy Season 5. As always, I hope this helped you, and peace out.